Today, I wish to speak of a film that, despite the conspicuous limitations of its modest production, ascends to rarefied cinematic heights by lodging itself into the marrow of viewers' psyche. It conjures an atmosphere so oppressive in its vulnerability, so total in its dread, that it seduces the soul into a state of slow-burning despair. That dread does not erupt, it accumulates, it lingers, and in its final act it delivers a chilling catharsis, a malign euphoria so exquisite in its terror that one is left hollow, yet somehow elated by the precision of its cruelty. From its very outset, the film, titled with Spartan elegance as The Witch, discards coyness and embraces its thesis with brutal candor. The enigma of the titular witch is not hidden behind veils or metaphor or narrative ambiguity. It is thrust upon us with such immediacy that the stakes are elevated to the mortal extremes. This, however, is no careless flourish. It is a conscious provocation. Cinematographer Jarin Bleshke's visual composition evokes the severe composure of Kubrick's Barry Lyndon. Illuminating interiors solely with natural light or the flicker of candle flame, the mise-en-scène is austere yet painterly, each frame a tapestry of shadow and soil. The sparing use of Mark Corvin's score is a masterclass in restraint. When it emerges, it feels as though the music emanates from the ancient woods themselves. The cast, anchored by performances of frightening authenticity, delivers dialogue lifted in part from period texts, infusing the film with an eerie verisimilitude. And yet, even amid this realism, a spectral mystique hovers over every utterance. Superstition, inherited trauma, and elemental terror are distilled into an elixir that intoxicates as much as it terrifies. Notably, the child actors, often the weakest link in period pieces, offer performances so hauntingly credible that one is left incredulous.
I be not Lassie, I be the Witch of the Wood, and I have come to steal ye. Hear me stick a flying through the trees. Clickety-clackety, clickety-clackety.
Robert Eggers, a director of formidable vision and ecclesiastical attention to detail, understood from the outset that authenticity must not be simply cosmetic. He immersed himself in the religious and folkloric beliefs of the early modern period, not to adorn his film with quaint antiquities, but to let those beliefs breathe, unchallenged and alive on screen. The realism he achieved does not cry out for credibility, it simply exists, self-assured and immutable. Drawing upon the diaries of Samuel Sewell and John Withrop, Eggers eschewed the lurid or fantastical in favor of the authentic grotesque, beliefs and rituals not concocted by a Hollywood screenwriter but born of real fear, real conviction and real history. Even the construction of the family's homestead was executed using 17th century techniques, a testament to Eggers' reverence and verisimilitude. His passion is so unrelenting and so contagious that even the most skeptical viewer is compelled into fascination. Set in a puritanical outpost of 17th century Massachusetts, The Witch recounts the bleak saga of a devout family exiled from their colony under a pall of theological rigidity. With nowhere to turn but to the untamed wilderness, they construct a meager homestead on the edge of an ominous forest, an environment that quickly reveals itself to be as hostile spiritually as it is physically. As crops fail and calamities unfold with a rhythm that mimics biblical judgment, the family, trapped within their unyielding beliefs, turn upon each other. Their theological framework, meant to offer clarity and salvation, instead spirals them into paranoia, repression and ruin. The Old English, in which the dialogue is penned, thanks to Eggers' background in Shakespearean theatre, deepens the immersion, rendering the viewer less an observer and more a helpless participant in this unfolding damnation. The specter of witch trials, an era wherein misogyny was sanctified by doctrine and fear, looms with oppressive weight over every moment of the film. Women were not only distrusted, they were repositories for communal anxieties, scapegoats in human form. Eggers does not editorialize this cruelty, he resurrects it.
I confess I've lived in sin. I've been idle of my work, disobedient to my parents, neglectful of my prayer.
Through the character of Thomasin, we witness the evolution of suspicion into persecution. Her burgeoning womanhood becomes a vessel for both the family's dread and their latent desires. This is not a mere subplot but the very marrow of the narrative, the terrifying convergence of puberty, piety, and patriarchal fear. The film's horror is not confined to the supernatural, it is found equally in the casual cruelty of belief, the inherited brutality of gender dogma. These themes strike not as polemic, but as primal memories, echoes of ancient injustices embedded within the collective unconscious. Though its surface is steeped in genre, The Witch belongs to a rare breed of horror that transcends its classification. It dares to present a parable rather than a narrative, a myth rather than a tale. One can interpret Thomasin's arc not simply as a descent, but as an emancipation. In embracing the role forced upon her, she defies the very construct that vilified her existence. She does not fall into damnation, she ascends into sovereignty. There is something unspeakably tragic in this triumph, for her freedom is purchased not with the rebellion, but with surrender. She has been cast out by men, by her family, by God himself. In the end, it is only the devil who offers her acknowledgement. Thus her apotheosis becomes a bitter sacrament, an infernal coronation. It is adolescence transfigured into myth, womanhood baptized in fire. As The Witch approaches its first decade since release in 2015, it becomes even more astonishing to recall that this was Robert Eggers' directorial debut. That such a singular, haunting and painstakingly crafted vision emerged fully formed is nothing short of miraculous. If you're among those who dismisses the horror genre as a purveyor of cheap thrills and recycled tropes, The Witch demands your reconsideration. This is a film of almost ritualistic experience, meticulously composed, intellectually rich, emotionally devastating, and visually enthralling. It possesses the rare power to silence even the most loquacious of critics, leaving only reverent awe in its wake. It is, quite simply, delicious.